Bob Iger. Bobby boy. Bobby boy, you stay on my mind. I saw what you had to say on The Hollywood Reporter. This is it here where he says that Bob Iger pushes back on Marvel fatigue. And the quote I want to find, we're doing a lot to turn around Disney's feature film business. You have to kill things you no longer believe in. And that's not easy in this business because either you've gotten started, you have some sunk costs, or it's a relationship with either your employees or with the creative community. It's not an easy thing, but you got to make those tough calls. We've actually made those tough calls. We've not been that public about it, but we've killed a few projects already that we just didn't feel were strong enough. So, well, allow me to speculate. See, this is a company that owns Marvel and Star Wars. I'll start with Star Wars. The untitled Rian Johnson trilogy. Yeah, back in April of 2023, Kathy Kennedy stated that trilogy of films is still in open development at the studio. Yeah, you know what? It isn't current priority. It's not happening. Bye. Adios. Ta-ta. That show exists. That trilogy exists no longer. Good. I would have cut that also, Bob. Then there's the untitled Benioff and Weiss trilogy. Oh, it's always trilogy. No, okay. The Taika Waititi film, I don't know about that one. I think that once Kathy Kennedy is gone, Rogue Squadron is going to be looked at in a different light. Same with every other film here. Why would we, if I'm the new president, I'm going to go and honor what she's been doing? Why? I just do my own things. Rogue Squadron, an anthology film. Yeah, not happening. So there's an untitled J.D. Dillard film. In February 22, a film was announced to be in development by J.D. Dillard. Wow, I don't even remember that one. Star Wars The Droid Story, pretty much can say with certainty that it was been canceled. And then the untitled Sean Levy film. We were just hearing about that. In November of 2022, Sean Levy entered talks to direct a Star Wars film after he does this. So maybe the performance of Deadpool and Wolverine will determine if Sean Levy gets a film. What will it be about, though? And then there's this Lando film by Donald Glover who's actively writing it. And that was like a new, fresh story. Undo these things, Bob. All of these shows, if consult with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Cancel what you need to. The Bad Batch is happening. That's coming at an end at season 3. Tales of the Jedi continue. I think Star Wars is good when it comes to the TV shows because you're already you got Andor in the books. I would have never made Andor, but you got 2 seasons of Andor and that's done. There's no Kenobi coming. There's no new season. Book of Boba Fett is it. Mandalorian, they're gonna do a 4th season eventually, so don't cancel that. There's nothing to cancel. We're just in a waiting period. We gotta wait for the Acolyte to come out. Where's that? It's not on this page, but after the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, we can determine whether or not they're worth continuing. And I'm pretty certain you cancel Acolyte. Star Wars is easy. What they've been up to and their output has been slowing down so much. Their output is what I'm talking about now. Ahsoka should get a season 2. I wouldn't say cancel that. Finish the story. Allow for a whole thing, a whole fleshed out, multi-series time period of The Mandalorian 6 years after Return of the Jedi. Allow for that to play out the way Jon Favreau wants it to. That doesn't mean cancel. That means re-continue Rangers of the New Republic. However it comes, whether they recontextualize it for a different medium. That would be Star Wars. In Bob Iger's article here, he was talking about how, in the last 33 films, we've made nearly $30 billion. Except if you look at these ones, these weren't $1 billion hits. This one wasn't billion. This one wasn't billion. This made almost $2 billion. No. So actually that average was a lot more impressive after this $1 billion film of, they could have said we made 24 films and we've grossed 24 billion. And now you can't even say 33 for 33 billion. Black Widow, because that's what he said in the article. Here it is. It's not an accident. Marvel's first 33 films generated just under 30 billion. Okay, Bobby. How many of these are success, standouts, undeniable hits that fans loved? I think Shang-Chi was loved, but it wasn't a hit. Spider-Man was a hit. I'll give Doctor Strange. No. Yes. No. This one we're optimistic about. Don't cancel Deadpool Wolverine. This is a whole new film that they're reshooting, so I don't even know what to think. And then these guys, why is this continuing? Why is it filming? This Thunderbolts thing should have been figured out years ago, a year ago, one whole year ago, at least 12 months. They should have said, we cannot do Thunderbolts. What we're making in the box office is not enough, because Quantumania was literally a year ago. This is when you go, okay, people are not going to just show up because the name Marvel is on something. But no, they got lucky with Guardians 3 for being a good film. But when you know that Marvel has a good film and it only rakes in 800 million, you know you got problems, because this was considered good. The average viewers were turned off, and it wasn't because of the output of how many you were doing. No matter what, Marvel. So you see this movie here, which got 206 million. There's a character in that that was in this show, and the show was called Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion featured a character named Nicholas J. Fury, and nothing that occurred here from this show in June that finished in July ended up affecting what goes on in November. And that is unacceptable. If Secret Invasion was the only series that came out in the last year, and Captain Marvel 2 was the only film that came out in the last year, then though you can see that the problem is in output, or how often you've been putting out things. It's not a quantity versus quality balance like on a teeter-totter. It's not like, if we focus too much here, we focus too much there. It was stupid. It was bad writing. It was ignorant. It was not communicating. Why isn't there like a round table with all the directors and writers talking about what they're going to do in their movie? And then someone can say, well, we're going to introduce a Super Skrull in our show, and it's going to be really powerful. And then, wait, I'm doing the Captain Marvel sequel, and I'm going to mention Skrulls in my show. And we're going to need that superpower. What are you doing with that powerful new character that was just created who can transform into everybody? Okay, let's have a reason why that character isn't going to be, and we could do something. The Eternals has a giant celestial sticking out of the earth, and we might have had 4 5 movies since that moment. No one's mentioning it. Like, it's not important. The Eternals sequel isn't in the works. There's no storytelling. There's separate the franchise into these sub-franchises that mention not once each other. Or they mention each other for no real reason. In Wakanda, whatever, remember how we had, her name is Val? Remember how we just had her there? What did she further? How important is she? Because I don't see her until like 12 months at a time. She probably has 4 appearances in the last 4 years. The Hawkeye appearance, Black Widow post-credit scene, Wakanda. Did she show up in Falcon Winter Soldier? I think she had like a scene there. We've seen her 4 times in the last 4 years, and I'm supposed to be interested in her cameo appearances here and there. Is it building up to Thunderbolts? Is that what we're... Yeah, I guess it's building up to Thunderbolts. It's not too late to cancel. Remember how you just said, Bob Iger, that it's a difficult decision to cancel? You cancel that. Bye. If I'm helping you, Marvel, and I'm looking at you guys' slate, I'm just going to say, What If is not worth it. I don't think you're selling merchandise off of it enough. You're good off What If. You're good. Echo happened. I still haven't watched it. It's 5 episodes, eh? Haven't watched it. You can cancel this, but it's already filmed and post-produced, so whatever. We know that this show, if it's 3 years removed from a WandaVision show, how important could it be? Because nothing of Agatha has been mentioned in other movies. It's just a spin-off. It's a separate spin-off with clear instructions to Jack Schaefer. You cannot make things mix in with the other shows and the other movies. Is Agatha going to factor in when it comes to the big movies like Fantastic Four? Where are we? I just don't see that happening. Don't discontinue this. Don't discontinue this, but recast. Mahershala Ali is 50. Avengers 5. Oh my God. Who are even the Avengers? Oh my God. I can't believe Avengers 5 is something I have disinterest in. It's curiosity, but wow. And then a year later, we finally get to Secret Wars, which represents to me an end to this kerfuffle. This broken storytelling. But who's going to be in charge? It's going to be Nate Moore and the rest of his doofus family.
It's going to get taken over by his idiotic daughter and his doofus son-in-law and the rest of his stupid family.
Unless they rehire Marcus and McFeely, rehire Joe and Anthony Russo, I can't be excited. and rehire them and tell me that they're going to be working on multiple projects for that next phase, for that next couple years. What am I going to do? Michael Waldron, you did Doctor Strange, right? You did Doctor Strange. Michael Waldron wrote that, so that should be okay. And he wrote Loki's first season. Maybe he could be able to handle it. But the team members, like, you don't have Black Panther, the Black Panther. You don't have Cap. You don't have Iron Man. Hulk might be in there because it's not a Hulk movie. And then whatever's happening with Chris Hemsworth and Thor, it's not looking good. Thor went how long between movies? Look at this stuff. Back in the days, it would be a Thor movie in 2022. And then I'll give him this because Avengers Endgame is a Thor movie. And we see him in Infinity War and Ragnarok. So we're seeing him so often. Ragnarok was 2017. We saw Thor in 2015 in Avengers. We saw Thor in 2013. Then we saw Thor in Avengers 2012. We saw Thor in 2011. The gap between Thor appearances is 3 years. And now it's going to be more than 3 years from the last time we saw him in Thor Love and Thunder in July of 2022. And we know nothing about Thor is coming if you look at the slate all the way up to 2026, I'll say. That's a 4-year gap with no Thor. The storytelling is not storytelling. Yikes. Cancel Armor Wars, of course. Cancel Untitled Spider-Man No Way Home sequel. No, keep that. Untitled Shang-Chi. I wouldn't say to cancel it, but prioritize the Untitled X-Men film way before you do a Shang-Chi movie again. Figure out what's going on in China. This guy's not going anywhere. No, he is actually. That's in Daniel Craig. He's going to do a Naruto movie, right? Let him do Naruto. And you guys can tell yourself what Star Wars tell themselves about how Rian Johnson is gone and he's busy doing other projects. Yeah, same with Destin and Daniel Craig. Go handle Naruto. Come back for this later. Whatever direction Shang-Chi goes in after Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. Shang-Chi probably doesn't deserve, but based off box office performance, doesn't deserve anything. But at the time it was released and the No China thing, September 2021, I think it's, if you want to give another chance, fine, but don't get too experimental with it. Make sure the next few franchises that you do, next few movies that you do after this, Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, is not Armor Wars. Unless you got Iron Man in it. Does Iron Man return in this movie? Yeah, fine. Go ahead. Armor Wars. I'm not for elevating War Machine, a sidekick character, who when we restart and reboot MCU, let me rephrase that. When Marvel Studios reboots, I won't use the word MCU. They're going to start with an Iron Man movie, and War Machine is going to be the sidekick again. So any sort of elevating of a sidekick, just so that you can put him back to sidekick level, I'm not going to champion that over actual superheroes. And I want to talk about Wonder Man. Where are you, Wonder Man? Not Loki, not Echo. Oh, Eyes of Wakanda. Bleh. No T'Challa, no interest. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a Disney Plus show. I think it's supposed to be cartoon. And Daredevil Born Again. Don't cancel this. Keep filming. Keep filming it. Keep filming. It says filming over there. And then Ironheart. It's already in post-production. Show's already done. We know it's got nothing to do with anything. We know that it's not a character that you care for. We know what you think of Ironheart and her skin tone and people of that likeness. I just don't care. I'm not gonna be made to care about Ironheart because you were able to push it a year. There obviously isn't anything substantial enough for this show to be there. If it can be pushed a whole year, a whole calendar year, more than that, it's been delayed so far. If it can be pushed back that much. But Bob, I'm just telling you what to cancel. Your Untitled Wakanda series down there, you canceled it. If it's got nothing, unless it's called Returning the King, I don't want to see anything in Wakanda that does not elevate the greatest black superhero that's ever happened and the most impactful melanated being in fiction and the most positive that has ever happened out of going to the movie theaters ever. If you want to undo killing the character, because this is that genre where you can do that, I'm there. Untitled Wakanda series. But not if it's not. Marvel Zombies, you can cancel that. Save your money. Shout out to Zeb Wells. But whatever Marvel Zombies is going to accomplish in their 4 episodes isn't going to sell merchandises and toys and whatnot. It's leave the kids stuff to not zombies, okay? If it's a cartoon for the kids, Let's just put kids' money in like Moon Girl or something else. Don't cancel Moon Girl. Wonder Man, season 1, 10 episodes. Race swap castings are not progression. If Wonder Man is a white character in your comic books, I do not want to see a black actor play him, because that is temporary. And what is needed is for a franchise of yours, a sub-franchise of the Marvel brand, for a superhero like Luke Cage, Monica Rambeau, a superhero like that, getting spotlight with a black casting. I will look at this sideways and boycott and be loud and protest the existence of the making of this show because of the casting that you did. It is not what I call representation. This sort of casting is a problem. You can cancel it now. Trust me, it is worth it. An untitled Nova series to me doesn't matter to me because I know the budgets for these things and you're not going to make me think it's in space. Who's going to be the Nova? Sam Alexander, Richard Rider? Why should I care? Is Nova going to appear here first? Is Nova going to appear in a movie and it'll draw me and drive me to watch the Nova TV show? You got to ask yourself these questions. Cancel this. Cancel Vision Quest. Produce an X-Men TV series, okay? They're at the mansion and it's the same set you're going to use for the movies, except while the set is there, you've already created it. Now you have a whole show happen at this mansion. And you get younger mutants. You can select their powers. Some people don't have powers yet. You can do anything you want in this mansion. But it will include cameos of the top tier X-Men, Storm, Cyclops. And then but mostly be about the kids. It'll be called Academy X. You read a gosh darn comic book and you follow those stories. And then you build up to the next X-Men movie. X-Men movie happens year 2026. And then 2027, the first season of your X-Men show. 2028, your second season of the X-Men show, which leads into the movie. And then we get a movie. And then season 3 of the show will follow up on the movie. It's called storytelling. Like things will build on each other. And there'll be one cohesive, like head writer and writing team working together about mutants in the X-Men. Don't do Werewolf by Night. No more holiday specials. I don't know how much money that brought you guys in. You guys don't understand streaming. Bob Iger can cancel nearly everything. What did I say to recontinue? I said get rid of Vision Quest. What ifs are not consequential stories. They're in other universes, and I can't wait for the end of this multiverse stuff. You know what we screwed up? We screwed up here, where he started naming this. This right here. What is it? Infinity Saga? The Infinity Saga. When this logo came up at Comic-Con 2019, it made them then say, all right, what are we going to call the next saga? Let's go with the Multiverse Saga. That decision was so costly. You don't need to name sagas. You don't even need to name phases. Storytell.